We're back with part 2 of the big November Madden 23 title update. Part 1, we covered gameplay and game mode changes, which I will link below in the pinned comment if you want to check it out. Today, we're going to be looking at more of the cosmetic changes and the playbook changes. We're going to look at the new player likeness that's in the game, new equipment, new changes to the fields, playbooks, and more. Starting with player likeness up first, we've got Nick Bolton, the second-year player, linebacker from the Chiefs, one of their better young players. You're going to see a lot of second and third-year players, like Creed Humphrey as well, another second-year standout player, the center for the Chiefs, and he's got a really crazy face scan. His is spot on. The hair, the beard, everything looks top-notch. We got another Chiefs offensive lineman in his second year, Trey Smith, the right guard. So you're going to see, like I said, a lot of these younger players. You're going to see some older players as well, which isn't as typical, like Tressway, for example, the punter for the Commanders. You're going to see some 6, 7, 8-year veterans as well, which isn't the most typical. You're going to see a few punters as well, like Jack Fox of the Lions. Punters are apparently people too. Speaking of punters, we've got Bradley Pinion of the Falcons. So not a position you usually see get updated face scans, but we got a few this time. Keeping with the Falcons here, we've got Chris Lindstrom, another guy that's been in the league for a few years, one of the better guards in the league. He finally gets his likeness in the game. Another second-year player, we've got Eric Stokes, cornerback for the Packers. They finally were able to get his likeness into the game. Another second-year player, Odafe Oweh from the Ravens, one of their young, talented pass rushers. They finally were able to get him in the game a year after his rookie year. We've got Dalton Risner, been in the league for a few years, one of the guards for the Broncos. He's now in the game as well. Alexander Madison, a backup running back for the Vikings who's been there for some years now. He's pretty well known. When Dalvin Cook goes down, he's the go-to guy. Finally got him in the game. Another guy that's been in the league for a while, Justin Britt of the Texans at center. They got him in the game. Another Texan that's been in the league for quite a while, the right guard. They finally were able to get him in the game. Again, kind of lower rated guys. You don't see this happen too often. Another vet for the Texans, Malik Collins, defensive tackle. Some of these guys lower rated. You just don't typically see these guys get face scanned that late into their career. But now we're moving on to the stadiums. We have the new branding of the Bengals Stadium. It's no longer Paul Brown Stadium, so they've got the new logos, the new stadium names around the stadium. They finally got that updated, so no more Paul Brown. Now we're going to look at the Broncos. They updated the field art here. I'm not 100% sure what changed. I think with the field art updates, it's probably more than likely going to be the end zones because those are the ones that change. The midfield logos don't usually change too often. Same with the Titans here. They updated their field art. Again, if you're a Titans fan, maybe you know what it is. It might be the end zones. It might be the little blue on the sidelines there. I don't know if that was there previously. If you're a Titans fan, I'm sure you know. With the Rams, I'm almost positive this is their end zones, and I like that more teams are starting to kind of go back to the fully colored end zones instead of having the, the grass end zones with just the logo. This is kind of more old school, and more teams are going back to just having the team colors fill out the end zone, which I think just looks way, way better. Same here with the Eagles. I believe they got their end zones updated, and I know this because I remember seeing some comments about this last update when they updated the stadium as a whole, but they never updated the end zones yet. Well, now the new end zones are here for the Philadelphia Eagles. And we also got an update for the Colts field, and again, I believe it's the end zones. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the midfield logo has changed in a while, and unless it did, maybe it didn't used to be the helmet. I don't know. I don't know every team's, on-field art, but the Colts were listed in the update, so here it is. Now let's look at the equipment. We got the new Jordan Superbad 6 gloves. We got them in black, white. You're going to also have them in the primary team color and the secondary team color. I'm pretty sure that's the case for all of the new equipment. We also have the Jordan Vapor Jet 7 gloves. These are pretty cool. So again, you got them in black, you got them in white. You're going to have the primary colors, and you're going to have them in the secondary colors as well. We also got the Nike Vapor Jet 7 gloves added as well. I know some people have been asking about these different gloves, some different cleats, and even some more helmets that they wanted to see in the game. We didn't get any new helmets with this update, mostly gloves, and we did get a new pair of cleats, which I'll show you. Now we're moving on to the Nike Superbad 6 gloves. These are the best looking ones I think they added, in my opinion. These are pretty cool. The stuff you see the guys wear on field in real life. You want to see it in the game, they finally got some more of that added. We also got the new Jordan 7 mid cleat added to the game. Every year Jordan makes a new football cleat, and EA has been pretty good about adding these. We got the 1s, we got the 10s, the 12s, I believe the 5s, and now we have the Jordan 7 mid. These are one of the better looking ones because of the color paneling. You get the kind of 2 colors in there, so those look pretty nice. The Jets black helmet is also fixed. I believe this was just an issue on Next Gen gen Xbox. I think it worked on PlayStation when it got put in the game with the last update, but now it works on all platforms, thankfully. Now let's talk about the NFL Live Playbook update. So first we got the Bears, and we got the I-form close flex. This was added to their playbook. It's a decent under center running formation with some good passes like the PA tight end corner. You've got runs like the ISO. You've also got runs like the stretch, which are very good. And the Broncos playbook, they got the I-form pro. Nothing really crazy about this. It's just your standard I formation. Not something a lot of people tend to use, but it's now there in the Broncos playbook. They also added the I-form slot close, which is very similar to the close flex we just looked at, just a slightly different alignment. Pretty good formation with some decent passes and some decent runs like the stretch. You got some jet sweeps as well added here. The Bucks playbook got the I-form slot added, which is also kind of similar to the two we were just looking at. This one's just not as kind of stacked. They're a little more spaced out. This is another decent under center formation with some runs and some passes, and the Bucks have one of the better playbooks, so it's good to see some more stuff added. The Chargers also got the I-form slot close. You're going to see this in a lot of the playbooks. This formation got added, whether it was the slot close, the close flex, or just regular slot. It's becoming more popular, so it was added to more playbooks. The Falcons got one of the bigger playbook updates. They got a ton of new pistol formations, and this is because obviously Marcus Mariota is their QB now, so they're using more pistol with some read option stuff and some different running back stuff. You've got some decent pass plays in some of these as well. You got the pistol full house, the strong, the wing tight slots, which is also a really creative one, and the Y off trip. So sprinkled in here, you're going to have a different number of read options, QB runs, regular running back runs, which are good. You got jet sweeps and jet touch passes. You got some nice RPOs as well, like in the tight slots here. This is actually a really good one where you can kind of run the ball decently. You got the RPO read flat wheel, which is always good. So a lot of creativity you can kind of use now in that Falcons playbook. It's more like what they're doing in real life currently. The Giants added the Wildcat slot flex because they have been using this quite a bit with Saquon Barkley this year. You've got a couple runs and you've got a jet touch pass. Now this power QB run is actually really good, and it's something they've used with Saquon Barkley in some short yardage situations, especially near the goal line. This is actually a really good run. You can't run it all game because it's kind of a giveaway, but this is something, if you got a short down, you might want to sprinkle that in. And then if you want to catch him off guard, you can throw the jet touch pass, which goes completely to the outside. This is actually something you might want to throw in a little bit. The Rams playbook got one of the better under center formations in all of Madden, which is the I-form close, and this is another very unique and good playbook. So to see them get something in I-form is actually pretty big because they don't have a lot of under center stuff outside of single back. So this is actually a really big add to this playbook. The Saints also got a pretty decent live playbook update, again with the I-form slot. Like I said, you're going to see this in some playbooks. This is a pretty good running formation with some dives and the stretch RPO. They also got the pistol Y trips, which isn't really that good of a formation. It's got some decent runs in it, but not a lot really that you can do with passing. Not something I would really particularly use, but you can mess around with it. But the big one is they got the heavy Saint finally put back into their playbook. I don't know why they ever took this out because they used this a lot with Taysom Hill, but for whatever reason, none of the plays have pictures. I don't know what EA did here, but none of the plays have pictures. So I'll kind of show you what some of the plays look like if you haven't seen this before. You have the QB power, which is something the Saints use Taysom Hill for a lot, especially in short yardage. It's one of the more consistent plays in the NFL this year. So you have the power run, but you also have the QB blast, which doesn't have any pulling blockers. It's just a straight up run. These are very good runs, especially in short yardage, and you could use them just like the Saints do in real life. You also got the mesh play, which is just a basic mesh concept, a good little pass that you can throw in to keep them honest. You've got the halfback base, which is just a typical halfback run with a pulling guard. And then you have the play, the tight end spot, which is actually a really good play because you have two corner routes on the play. This is actually a really nice passing play. Moving on to the Seahawks playbook, they added the pistol full house. I believe this is probably something that maybe they've been using a little bit because of Geno Smith and also the group of running backs that they have. So this is something a little extra in the Seahawks playbook, which is already a pretty decent playbook. The Texans got a few new things added as well. They got the single back wing tight Z, which has a bunch of tight ends in it. It's a pretty decent running formation, not really something you want to pass out of too much. They also got the single back doubles off close, kind of an interesting formation. You can see another play here with no pitcher. We got to get it it together, EA. I don't know how this is happening in multiple playbooks, but here we are. Nothing crazy, just a few plays. We also got the single back wide trips, and we have another play without a pitcher for some reason, but nothing crazy, just about 6 plays in this formation. We also got the I form pro added to this playbook as well. Again, just kind of a basic I formation, nothing too crazy. They also got that I form slot added as well. Decent formation with some decent runs and some okay passes. They also got the strong Z close, another decent formation with a couple decent passes and some decent runs as well, and more plays without pitchers on them. Let's get it together, EA. Like, this is multiple playbooks, multiple formations now. Then we're going to the Vikings playbook, which also got the I form close added. I believe this playbook is almost identical, if not completely identical to the Rams playbook, so they basically just got the same thing added here, which is really good. And they also got the I form slot close, as we've seen the similar formation in many playbooks with this update. Now, if you missed any of the info from yesterday's important update, you can check that video out right here on the screen right now.